Hello, welcome to our English class. In this video, we will learn about recount text. The aim of this video is students are expected to answer reading questions and understand the social function of recount text, the generic structure of recount text, and the language features of recount text. So, grab your pen and paper, let's study together and enjoy the video. Before we get going, let me ask you a quick question. Do you have any interesting experiences when you go on holiday? Can you tell me how fun it is? Awesome. Did you know? There is a proper way to tell your interesting experiences through the text. It's called recount text. We will learn it together today. Now, you will hear a recount text, talking about someone's experience going to her grandparents' farm. Listen carefully to the monologue while reading the text. After that, let's break down the text together.
Holiday on grandparents' farm. Last weekend, I went to my grandparents' farm to help my grandpa shear the sheep. Their property is surrounded by rolling fields, and I arrived just as Grandpa was preparing the shearing tools in the barn. I was excited to be part of the process, knowing it would be a busy day ahead. The next morning, we gathered all the sheep into a cage, which was no easy task. I helped hold the sheep steady while Grandpa carefully sheared their wool, his experience showing in every movement. The barn was filled with the hum of the shearing machine and the occasional bleat from the sheep. By late afternoon, the work was done, and the sheep were back in the field, looking much lighter. The barn was piled with wool, and Grandpa and I were exhausted but satisfied. We sat down for a break, sharing a quiet moment after a long day of hard work.
After listening to the monologue, what things can you understand from the text? And what do you think is the purpose of the text? The purpose of the text is to inform the reader about the writer's holiday visit to her grandparents' farm to help her grandpa with shearing the sheep. The purpose of the text is also known as the social function of the text. The social function of recount text is to retell events or experiences that happened in the past. The primary aim is to inform, entertain, or share personal experiences with the audience. Next, let's learn about the generic structure of the text. Now, I need you to pay attention to paragraph 1 of the text. What is being discussed in this paragraph? Who shared this holiday experience? Where did she go on holiday? In paragraph 1 of the text, the writer describes her visit to her grandparents' farm to help her grandpa with shearing the sheep. It sets the scene by mentioning the peaceful countryside location. Paragraph 1 is called orientation because it refers to the section where the writer sets the scene and provides background information about the events being described. This part typically includes details about who was involved, where and when the events took place, and any other relevant context that helps the reader understand the situation before diving into the main events of the recount. Next, pay attention to paragraph 2. What information can you take from paragraph 2? What does the writer do in this section? In paragraph 2 of the recount text, the writer describes the process of shearing the sheep. It details how she and her grandpa rounded up the sheep into a cage and how the writer helped by holding the sheep steady while grandpa did the shearing. Paragraph 2 is called event, which refers to the specific actions or incidents that took place during the time period being described. This part of the text provides a chronological account of what happened, detailing the key moments and experiences in the story. It focuses on the main events that make up the narrative. Now pay attention to the last paragraph. What does the writer feel about her holiday? In the last paragraph, the writer reflects on the completion of the shearing work. The writer notes their exhaustion but also their sense of accomplishment. The paragraph ends with the writer and their grandpa enjoying a quiet moment together after the day's hard work. The last generic structure is called reorientation, which refers to the concluding section where the writer reflects on or summarizes the events. This part often provides a closing comment or personal reflection on the experience. It might include the writer's feelings, outcomes of the events, or any final thoughts about what happened. Now you can identify the generic structure of recount text, which consists of orientation, event, and reorientation. Now, did you know? To create a text, it has a language feature that must be followed by the writer. Language features in a recount text are the specific characteristics and techniques used to convey the events and experiences described. The key language features in a recount text include past tense, time connective, action verb, adverb of time and place. Now let's identify the language features of the recount text that we have read. Notes: past tense will be marked green. The adverb of time will be marked pink. The adverb of place will be marked yellow. Action verb will be marked blue. Last weekend indicates when. Went is the past tense of go. Arrived is the past tense form of arrive. Was excited is the past tense form of excite, describing a state of feeling that occurred in the past. In indicates where. Went indicates actions words, same as help, shear, arrived, and preparing. The next morning indicates when. Gathered is the past tense form of gather. Helped is the past tense form of help. Sheared is the past tense form of shear. Filled is the past tense form of fill. Into indicates where. Gather is an action word, the same as help, hold, shear, showing, and fill. By late afternoon indicated when. Was done is past tense. Were is past tense. Piled is the past tense form of the pile. Exhausted is the past tense form of exhaust. Sat is the past tense form of sit. In indicates where. Looking is an action word same as sharing and sat. We are done. Can you review what we learned just now? We have learned the social function of recount text, the generic structure of recount text, the language features of recount text. You can always replay this video to understand more. Further explanation and other text examples can be found in your worksheet. Thanks for watching and good luck.